There are two holidays that I think Christians should just go nuts over. Like, this is the best thing in the world. We need to blow it out, and that's Christmas and Easter.
Things like that were super intentional that my parents did helped me be more grateful for what I was given, and I think shaped me to be the person I am today with that. But we didn't actually do anything Thanksgiving specific.
Welcome to First Families Podcast, conversations to encourage you in your family's journey.
Am I actually starting this? Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever First Families Podcast.
Number one,
where we put families
first.
So exciting. We're glad you're here and listening. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. We're just here to have conversations and hopefully do some encouragement and give you some thoughts on our top 5 favorite things each week. So,
But first, we have to introduce ourselves, right?
Yes,
just in case
100%.
You found us on the internet and are wondering who we are.
Who are we? I'm Matt Parker. I am I'm now the pastor to students and families at First Baptist Church of Lee Summit, Missouri, and having a great time. And I've been here for 4 years. I've been a student pastor for 26 years, and I've parented something like 25 kids, with all of our own homegrown kids, adopted and biologically from us, and also foster family for 7 years, and Love and Life, and it's been a great time.
It's a whole lot of kids.
It's a whole lot of kids.
Not all at once.
And a lot of babies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of babies.
So fun.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, my name's Kimberley. I am the pastor for kids and families. I'm officially a pastor. So exciting. And I am from Austin, and I've been in Missouri for 6 years this February.
6 years?
Almost 6 years.
That's a good long time.
That's pretty crazy. The longest I've lived somewhere since I graduated high school. So, yay for milestones. I have been a parent for 6.5 months. So, it's been a wild ride.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And Dawson's such a cute little kid.
He's my favorite. Don't tell the other people in the world. But
I think it's okay if it's your own kid.
There's only one of them right now, so we can call him our favorite. And then we'll have a second favorite that's equally favorited.
Well, that's when you do into gladiatorial style contests to determine which of your own kids are your favorite.
Yeah, but then you have to make sure they're old enough, because it's really not fair for 3-year-olds battling a 6-month-old.
No. No mercy, man.
Okay, fair
Mercy does not exist in this dojo. Because, see, the thing is, when the older dominates the younger for so long, when the younger actually wins, that's a moment.
That is
I am still waiting for my moment to beat my older brother in a game of Connect 4. We used to be at school ahead of time. We went to the same Christian school when we were like really young in elementary school, and we would play Connect 4 a lot before school. And I haven't beat him one single time in my entire life. Risk, never beat him.
Sounds like you need to play more games.
Stratego?
Oh, that's a good game.
Have you ever played Stratego?
Yes, my brother had it.
It's a great game.
He won every time, but I didn't care. So
yeah, right?
I have no chip on my shoulder for that game.
So the day, I'm 47 years old, he's like 50-something right now, and the day that I actually beat him in one of those games, it's going to be game over. I'm going to burn the world down.
Because the game will be over.
The game will actually be over.
Yep. That's not what we're here to talk about.
That's not what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about, it's Thanksgiving, so obviously we're here to talk about Christmas. So let's talk about Christmas. So do you have your decorations up yet?
No. So I have changed a little bit over the years. I used to be hard and fast. Fall decorations go up after the first day of fall. Mm-hmm. I try to stay around that still. And Christmas decorations go up after Thanksgiving. But I've also enjoyed relaxing after Thanksgiving. And so I'm considering maybe, I don't know. I don't know that I can necessarily decorate before Thanksgiving. Yeah. It hurts my heart a little bit. I love fall too much. But I do put an event at my house like a week after Thanksgiving. That's a Christmas thing. Like my volunteer event last year, come and go thing. It forced me to get my decorations up in a week. And so I have to have an external motivator for Christmas decorations. Well, I think the other reason I'm so like pro after Thanksgiving is my family always had a real tree growing up. You cannot put a real tree up on November 1st or else it will not make it to Christmas. And so we would get it up like the Sunday after sometime early December, and it'd last the 3 weeks, and then it would get dry and leave the house.
Okay, so I have historically put up Christmas decorations the weekend of Thanksgiving. The last couple of years have been kind of chaotic for my family, so it's been a little different. I think we'll probably get back to it this year. But okay, so here's the thing, right? In my mind, Thanksgiving and Christmas are the same holiday. You know, like the 12 days of Christmas, I've got the one full month of Christmas. Thanksgiving's always around mid-20s of November.
So it's like the starting feast of Christmas?
It's like the starting feast of Christmas, and like the whole month of December is like one long Christmas celebration. I love it. If I could skip over Halloween and not even acknowledge that day and just have one solid Christmas celebration from September 1st all the way through, I would totally do it. Christmas music at the Parker household is legal September 1st.
Wow.
Like we
I
pop
was
it
going to
in
ask you
intentionally.
if it goes up
and
with
start
the
it.
Christmas decorations, but it's before.
It's before.
Okay.
It's before. We've been listening to Christmas music for several weeks now. That's been in our rotation. Now, once Thanksgiving hits, then it really ramps up, and we're watching Christmas movies. We're listening to Christmas music, and but like there are some Christmas songs that and playlists that are year round for us.
Okay.
And like we have Christmas in July usually, and it's a great time. We love Christmas because there are two holidays that I think Christians should just go nuts over. Like, this is the best thing in the world. We need to blow it out, and that's Christmas and Easter. And I like I said before, I consider Thanksgiving as part of Christmas. So
okay, that's fair. Yeah. See, I, being a musician for so many years, like choir, orchestra, Christmas rehearsals start in August. And so I always delayed my personal listening to Christmas until after Thanksgiving. But part of my personality is I love anticipating things. And so half the fun right now is looking forward to 3 weeks from now when I get to listen to Christmas music.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. But we're still thoroughly in normal music right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, so my wife balances me out a little bit because she enjoys Halloween, and she also loves, like capital LOVES, loves fall decorations, like the orange and yellow leaves everywhere. The like it is like a thing.
Y'all are festively fall.
Pumpkins, yes, festively fall. My daughter got the bug. She had a friend over one night a few weeks ago, and they went to Dollar Tree and bought all the dollar decorations they could, including those little like toolish kind of ribbons, you know, the giant ones that
for like wreath making.
Yeah, for like wreath making. And they wrapped the house in just fall decorations, candy corns and pumpkins and orange and gold and yellow, and it's magical.
That's pretty special. So
yeah.
Christmas around Thanksgiving.
Okay, so there aren't very many good Thanksgiving
songs.
Songs. There's
Ben Rector, but that was recent.
Yeah,
so.
Ben Rector. There's the Over the River and Through the Woods.
That we call it Christmas song, but it's actually Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I love Charlie Brown Christmas. I love it's a great pumpkin. Charlie Brown is the Halloween special.
Yeah, much to my husband's, I don't know, dislike's a strong word. My favorite Christmas decorating tradition is I have a circa 2005 Lawrence Welk Family Christmas DVD.
Oh my gosh.
Because I loved Lawrence Welk as a kid, the Christmas episodes.
Parents,
so it was one that was like a family Christmas reunion concert after Lawrence Welk had died. So it's just all of these, it's like circa 2000s. And so I love to play that CD while I'm decorating. And
nice.
I get judged for being a 29-year-old who loves Lawrence Welk every time I mention it. So
Lawrence Welk. Well, okay. Well, speaking of Christmas and decorating at Thanksgiving time, well, actually, let's back up since it is November to Thanksgiving. All right, so let's talk about our family culture. How did you, like, as a kid or right now as a family? How do you like do your Thanksgiving gratitude stuff?
Yes. So I was thinking back, and my family did a really good job of creating a culture of gratitude and basically not raising us to be spoiled kids in everyday life. But we didn't really do anything Thanksgiving specific. Like we didn't sit around the table naming all the things we're thankful for or anything like that. But there was like, anytime I got a gift, I had to go find the person and thank them for it. And so like, I remember even Christmas, if we want to fast forward, when we'd celebrate with my cousins and we'd all get gifts passed out from like my grandmother or aunts and uncles or whatever, I was taught by my mom that you get the gift and then I went and made sure and found it and I thanked the person for it before I went on to the next gift. So it wasn't this like free for all for gifts. And so things like that were super intentional that my parents did helped me be more grateful for what I was given. And I think shaped me to be the person I am today with that. But we didn't actually do anything Thanksgiving specific.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
I grew up in a similar family culture. We didn't like sit around at Thanksgiving and like say, well, what are you thankful for? I can't remember that. I'm sure my mom tried to get it going, but that's not like the vibe. Like the sit down and intentional conversation is not really the vibe, especially at mealtime at my house. So I'm sure there were moments where that at least was attempted. I just don't remember them. But yeah, like we get a gift immediately, drop a note in the mail and send it on. I'm terrible at that now, unless, it's for official church stuff. But
yeah, I don't write thank you notes very well now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gratitude and not expecting things was a big part of our family culture.
But I'll tell you, when I got a little older and out on my own, and this was something that I had to get used to with Misha because her family's just like, here's stuff. I was not very good at receiving gifts, right? Like I would get a gift and I would feel obligated to reciprocate. And if I did not have something that could adequately reciprocate, then it was an awkward thing. And so like, I can remember several specific times when Misha would like give me something and I was like, and it was not a positive deal. And so that whole exercise of personal gratitude and receiving graciously, that wasn't a thing that comes natural to me. I've had to really work on that.
I've gotten more awkward with that the older I get and the more, I guess, aware. But I think generosity and gratitude go hand in hand. When, like, so my family culture, in addition to emphasizing gratitude and thankfulness, is they were very generous. And so my parents were very generous in a variety of ways, looking out for needs of others at our church or other people and teaching me like the why behind we were being generous and making sure just like giving freely. And so I think those went hand in hand because we gave so freely of things. If I received a gift, when we gave, we didn't expect anything in return. So then that transferred when I received something, I didn't always feel like I had to give something in return because that was the family culture of generosity that we had. And now that I'm a real adult, sometimes I tend to overthink it and be like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I don't know what the culture is supposed to be, but...
Okay, so you're a real adult with a kid and a husband. How do you like intend to move forward in creating that sort of culture with your family?
Yeah, great question. So I haven't thought of any specifics because my little guy isn't talking yet. So there's not a ton we can do other than just modeling it. And
thank you.
Yeah, saying thank you. Not acting spoiled. Not expecting things. Like I made a joke. My mom was in town recently and she brought a toy for Dawson, which is great. And she will pretty much always do that. But there's going to be a teaching time where we're going to teach him, you don't expect grandmom to bring you toys always.
Okay.
Like just because she arrives doesn't mean she has something for you, right? Even though we all know that probably will happen for a while. And so just kind of holding back some of those expectations. And teaching him to say thank you and to go out his way to being aware of when something's been given or like thanking for meals or things like that if he's over at someone's house.
Sure. I find, and I think this was part of my family, we didn't have a lot. We were comfortable. We had plenty to eat most of the time. And a lot of it was because we grew a lot of our own food. But I think part of gratitude might come with scarcity. Like if you have so much that you're just getting something else to add to your pile of stuff, it feels a lot less special. But if and we've been great about this with our kids, we don't give them anything so that when they get something, they're super grateful. But there's something to be said for not just, giving your kids stuff and when your mom comes that she doesn't have something every time, because then it becomes less of an expectation. I deserve this. I'm entitled to this, and more of a, hey, this is something special that my grandmother brought to me. And I think that can add value to it and enhance the experience of gratitude, if that makes sense. So
I think expectations and gratitude go hand in hand for sure.
Totally.
If you're expecting something, if you're supposing it's going to happen to you, that's going to decrease your thankfulness, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. I think another thing that has been helpful for my kids is they've worked for some things, and so it's not that they have to work for everything, and we're like, you've got to deserve it. If you've got some sweat in the game and you've put your sweat equity into it, then it's be a little more valuable to you. You know what I mean? Because
or maybe if you don't, you're at risk of not valuing it.
There you go.
Because it's not always if you don't, then you do.
Right.
But if you don't have the sweat equity, you're more at risk of taking it for granted.
This was something that we've observed in foster kids, because people are really generous with kids when they come into our care. They're like bringing bikes and bags of stuff and toys and Nerf guns and footballs and all and we have boxes and boxes of clothes still from years and years of people just dumping stuff on our doorstep, which we were so grateful for. But whenever we send them on to their permanent locations, their permanent family situations, we noticed that there was often this, as we were going through the stuff that they'd received, there was this whole pile of stuff that good-hearted people had given them, and even some stuff, that they should have valued more and been grateful for more than they were. But because of the sheer volume of stuff, it was just overwhelming, and it didn't hit them quite the same. So that's just an example. Do you intend to sit down with your kid, and maybe eventually kids plural, and have these moments of what are you thankful for today, Dawson?
Maybe yes, maybe no. I feel like I'd be more likely to do that not on Thanksgiving, because I feel like a spontaneous, so what are you thankful for at dinner another time of year feels less awkward than, okay, it's Thanksgiving. There's all this like expectation and pressure that this is the thankfulness holiday, and we're all going to sit around and like have this conversation. So I think there might be natural ways to think about what we're thankful for. I don't mind a good cheesy lead into a conversation. So, but I think more often than not, we will just be building it into the culture of our home, and just daily conversations or weekly conversations or regular conversations we have are pointing him to all that God has given him and what we can be thankful for, rather than having this like trite list that we have to generate once a year.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a few times a year where we pull out what we call the Barnabas book. It's a book of encouraging things that we experience, or the things that we plan to do. Like it's our New Year's resolution book. It's and because we consider all of these things together as the good things that we look forward to, that we intend to do, and that we've experienced. And so we look into our Barnabas book on Thanksgiving, and we review the good things that we've experienced over the last year or however long. And sometimes we go back even further, and it like helps us to, as we tell the story of what we've experienced, it helps us to develop gratitude and think, we're in our current circumstances right now, but look how things have gone over time for us. And I think that's been a good thing. We haven't been as intentional about that as the kids have gotten older, but it's a lot easier when they're younger to sit around the table. They're not being pulled in as many directions, and we have a little more control over their schedules. But
and I'm sure if you asked them today, they would still point to that as a fabric of who they are in their childhood and stuff, memories that they have from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they remember it fondly. Megan a little less, because she was a lot younger when we were really intentional about it. But yeah, that's been something that's been good. But I like what you said about building it into the fabric of the family, because you can sit around all day on Thanksgiving and talk about things you're thankful for, but if you're not modeling it, if you're like the most ungrateful, bitter, entitled person for the rest of the year, then that one day is not going to say anything to your kids, right? So,
yeah. So it's fun.
Modeling it is key.
It's important. So we'll see. Ask me in 5 years and see what we've come up with and what we've decided to do.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. All right. So, so you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table. You're sharing the things that you're thankful for, writing them in your thankfulness journal.
Maybe.
Maybe not. But what food must be? Like, what's your top 5 food that must be on the table?
Okay, this is an interesting question because I've been married 3 years now, and basically all the Thanksgivings since I've moved here have been apart from my family. So what I grew up doing for Thanksgiving and what I do for Thanksgiving now, food-wise, isn't necessarily the same. They're both delicious, don't get me wrong. But there's some geographical, cultural differences in what the McElroys eat for Thanksgiving and what my family always did. So I would say number 1 is you have to have a good roll. Some sort of bread item.
Essential.
Crescent roll, delicious. My uncle made these homemade yeasted rolls, and they're amazing. So, and you have to have enough rolls for leftovers, so that when you go back for leftovers that night or Friday, you don't run out of the roll.
You can use the roll for leftover turkey sandwiches.
You could, or you could just eat the roll.
Or just eat the roll.
Next to the delicious food. So, I love a good roll.
Okay, so I love a good apple pie.
Oh, yep.
Apple pie. I've got an internationally acknowledged apple pie, award-winning.
Do you make it?
I make it.
Okay. Do you do like a crumble top or a pie crust top?
It's a pie crust top and bottom, and it's quite good, and it's world famous because we know people who live in Spain, but that's the only reason.
Oh, it's known in Spain.
It's known in Spain.
I do love a good apple pie.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
What's your number 2?
Okay, well, I was going to go with like some sort of pie, which is funny because I don't love pie, but I do love a good chocolate pie or an apple pie. So those are like, no, forget the pumpkin pie. That's gross. I would have to say, okay, this one, I have to have it even though it's not my favorite. So I have to have homemade cranberry sauce. But I only eat about a tablespoon of it per meal. So I make this giant bowl, and I just like the little bit of sweet with the turkey to offset it. So it has to be there, but it's not actually like rolls that I just eat in excess.
Is it like do you sweeten it? So do you sweeten the tanginess out of it, or is it still a little tangy?
So it's tangy. It's a tangy sweet, but there's a lot of sugar in it. So it's sugar and boiled down cranberries that squish, and like you do the whole cooking thing, and then you let it set up so it's a little firmer, I guess. I don't know. I don't put a lot of spices in it either. It's just straight up cranberries. So that's maybe why I need like a tablespoon, because a little tablespoon goes a long way with roast turkey. Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of cranberries. I don't remember ever having them. Maybe we had them. How do you feel about canned cranberries?
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing until about 5 years ago.
So that's a no for you?
Yeah, so my parents were all about, or my grandmother was the one who made the cranberry sauce. And so good old Texas ocean spray cranberry sauce.
Love
but
it.
You buy the fresh cranberries or the frozen cranberries and you boil it down. And then the canned stuff my in-laws have, but I find it fascinating to look at. Like it's a bizarre thing to have.
So we have rolls, apple pie, and cranberries. What's another one for you?
Well, I feel like I have to go some sort of meat. Otherwise, this is a terrible thing.
Is turkey on the list? I don't know.
My family always did a turkey and a honey baked ham.
Okay.
Because we had like 20 plus people.
I
and I love a good honey baked ham, like the brand Honey Baked. McElroys just do turkey. So I like them both, but I'm not necessarily one over the other always. It's good.
Okay, so one thing always at the Parkers, and it's only because it was like my side of the family, we always have a pickle platter for kind of our hors d'oeuvres, sort of snacking while we're preparing the food and stuff. Olives, pickles, pickled okra, sweet pickles, dill pickles, tiny gherkins. Misha hates it. In fact, one thing I have let go is we used to do pickled eggs. Like the Parker family has pickled eggs, and it's pickled in like this purple pickle juice.
That sounds so terrible.
It's amazing.
Okay.
But we haven't had it in our house since
Misha banned it?
Since, I think it was, I can't remember which time it was, but the last time we did, my whole family used to get together in Ohio, and we'd get together at this one place, and my wife was in charge of pulling out the eggs out of the pickle jar, and she was about to vomit the entire time, but she was still new to the family, so she couldn't let people know that it was completely disgusting to her, and so she was about to vomit, and she was like, and that was the last time that we had pickled eggs at our
Was it
family.
also the last time your whole family was in?
That's the last time I can remember my whole family, my cousins, my aunts and uncles. But yeah.
Well, we had a pickled type of appetizer. We do fresh veggies, celery with the pimento cheese,
Yum.
and then a platter of olives and jalapeno stuffed olives, and that was basically just for my dad. But I was always in charge of both platters, making them pretty and making sure everything was cut. And I did not eat any of the pickled stuff ever. It smells pretty gross. So I can.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there were no pickled eggs. I'll stay away from those. Cool.
That was 5.
Yep.
Fantastic.
I feel like we left off a lot of important foods.
There's some important foods. Turkey, I think, is good.
Turkey's good.
Ham is good. We do a cheese ball also.
Okay.
It's like pickled
Do you
butter
make it look like
and
a turkey?
cheese ball. No, I've never thought of doing that.
Okay, I'll show you.
I'm
It's a
going
thing.
to now.
It's a thing.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
That's amazing. I've never thought of doing that. That's crazy. All right.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening to us ramble.
Yeah, well, very cool.
We are thankful for you.
We are thankful for you. We are grateful for your time. Thanks for tuning in, listening, and I think that's all the time that we have for today.